Okay, the new KIKORU Shinomiya is out in Kaiju number 8, the game. Now, this is obviously an original character wearing the gauntlets, and she is very, very good. However, she can't really hit crits, so that's something to take into account. But she does have defense penetration, and along with that defense penetration, she is able to spam ultimates. Being able to spam ultimates is actually kind of insane. Now, with that being said, her damage on the ultimate isn't always going to be the most because she's not able to hit crits, and also because she has the ability to spam them, so they couldn't give her too much damage. But nonetheless, I think this is probably one of the most unique and fun characters to play so far. So today we're going to talk about how you should build her, what weapons you want to equip on her, what Unipart sets you want to run, whether or not you should actually be trying to ascend her if somehow you magically have the dimensional crystals to do it, or you're an absolute whale, because honestly the rates in this game can be a bit rough sometimes, and as free to play, like, they haven't given you a ton of dimensional crystals as it is. And if you're a light spender, still same story, it's going to be hard for people to ascend characters. But we'll talk about whether you should ascend her or not if you're thinking about doing that, and then we'll also talk about what skills you should upgrade first on her. But first, let's get into the weapon. So the best weapon for her is obviously going to be the banner weapon. The banner weapon is the FS Magni, if I'm saying that correctly. I don't know. It just probably depends on your region. But keep in mind, these percentages can vary depending on your ascension stage. So I have the weapon ascended one time, meaning I got one dupe of it. And so right now my effect hit rate is plus 22%, but that could be higher or lower depending on where you're at. But this weapon is very good for that one particular part right there. Regardless of everything else, the effect hit rate plus 22% is very, very, very good. And then when attacking a kaiju that already has a debuff, the equipped unit's blunt damage dealt plus 16.5%. This is also going to be huge because keep in mind she's doing defense penetration but no crits, so the more blunt damage you can have, the better, because it's going to allow her to hit harder over time, especially between her combat skill and her ultimate. Very good thing to have. After the equipped unit destroys a kaiju's plate, applies attack plus 27.5% for 2 turns to the equipped unit, so that's also going to be good as well. These are the best gauntlets, like I said, that you can equip to her, because realistically the other gauntlets are more focused on defense because they are made for ESAO, so they're not going to help her as much with like increasing her damage. If you don't have this weapon, she's going to hit even like lower numbers that just aren't spectacular. Like, the numbers don't look great without the weapon. I'm not gonna lie. If you get KIKORU, you kind of have to have her weapon, my opinion. Then the other options, though, here's your other option. This is going to be ESAO's weapon, right? And this is dupe 3 right now with where it's at. 44.2% extra defense. So like, it'll give her more survivability, which is nice. I mean, if you're taking on certain types of content in this game where you need more defense, you could equip these. After the equipped unit receives an attack, applies defense plus 32.5% for 1 turn to the equipped unit. If the equipped unit has a shield, all allies damage taken reduction plus 5.2%. So this could be equipped in like an ESAO comp. If you had extra copies of this, you could equip 1 copy to ESAO, 1 copy to her, and anytime she has a shield, she's going to give damage reduction to allies. She'll act more like a defensive unit, which is interesting to think. An attacker unit acting as a defensive unit. It really just depends on your situation, but more often than not, this is going to be the better weapon to equip. You also do have the 4-star option when the equipped unit's remaining HP is less than 40%. The equipped unit's defense plus 57.6%. That's a dupe 4, and once again, it's a defensive set of gear, so it's not that great. And then last but not least, you do have the defense force pass option. So if you go in here and you take a look at the gauntlets here, the FS Vidar, and let's go to level 100 max stats, right? Defense plus 36.6%. After the equipped unit activates a normal attack, applies damage taken reduction plus 4.6% for 2 turns to the equipped unit, max of 3 stacks. So once again, defensive. So there's literally only one set of gauntlets in the game designed for this character so far, and that is the banner gauntlets. So like, once again, if you get the character and you don't get the weapon, honestly, you've got like half the character. The weapon's pretty important for this character. Hate to say it, but it is what it is. As for the Uniparts, okay, what Unipart set should you be equipping to this character? You should be equipping the new Unipart set, the armored type. Okay, so there are other options technically that you could run. This one, spider type, would be another decent option because it gives you effect hit rate up. But overall, it's going to be better to get the blunt damage rate up, and then these other effects, attack plus 37%. After the equipped units activates ultimate, the equipped units damage dealt plus 12.5%, max of 3 stacks. So first best Unipart set is going to be the armor type. Go for that. And then second best is going to be the spider type if you want effect hit rate up. But then when the equipped unit attacks a kaiju that already has a debuff or status element, the equipped unit's damage dealt plus 25%. I don't think that's as good as this secondary effect here, right? So that's why I would choose this one over the other one personally. And then as far as individual Uniparts, like kind of what should you be going for here? Blunt damage is going to be absolutely amazing. This is really bad. Don't get crit rate like I have here. It's just a 5-star I had. It was the best thing I had at the time, and obviously you saw I didn't have resources to reroll at the moment. But I wouldn't go for this. I'd maybe go for like ultimate gauge or something like that. And then attack is always going to be good right here on this particular character. So these two pieces are actually pretty decent. Just need to get them in a 5-star version. And then I'd probably go for ultimate gauge right there in the center on the chest piece. Now, as for Ascension, is it worth ascending her? So at 1 dupe, after attacking a kaiju that already has a debuff, applies blunt damage dealt plus 20% for 1 turn to this unit. Like, even just getting her 1 duped makes her so much stronger. Like, it's crazy, guys. Getting her to 2 dupes. While in inheritance state, this unit's normal attack damage multiplier plus 30% and combat skill damage multiplier plus 30%. If it was just normal attack, I'd say it's not worth it, but because it says combat skill right there, very worth it, because basically you're going back and forth with this character between combat skill, ultimate, as much as possible, right? Like, and then normal attacks in there, but the normal attacks don't do that much, but the combat skill and the ultimate do a lot. So very, very good getting her to 2 dupes, like insanely good. At dupe 3, you get your normal attack and combat skill level +2 and max level +2. At dupe 4, at the start of a wave, has a 150% base chance to apply effect resistance -20% to all kaiju. Decent. And then at dupe 5, ultimate passive and follow-up skill level +2 and max level +2. And then at dupe 6, fully duped out, after activating ultimate, applies ultimate damage multiplier plus 130% for 3 turns to this unit. This does not apply if an ultimate damage multiplier buff is already applied by this effect. After performing normal attack while in inheritance state, advances this unit's action order by 20%. Like, bro, they just went all out on the dupe 6. So, like, in my mind, there's 2 places you want to be. It's either dupe 6, which is just absolutely breaks the character, makes her insanely good. Like, maybe one of the best characters in the game once you get her dupe 6. Not gonna lie, like, that's really good. Or dupe 2. Dupe 2, I think, is the more obtainable place for most people to get that extra 30% multiplier on your combat skill. That's where I would kind of aim as a free-to-play light spender. Well, realistically, free-to-play, you're just aiming to get the character at all if you're lucky. But dupe 2 or dupe 6 if you are thinking about duping. In general, it's going to be hard for people to dupe this character out. Now, as for skills, I'm going to start with the additional passives that you get for unlocking her levels, just getting her up to level 100, and then I'll go over these skills on the right and which ones I think you should upgrade first. So, Unleash Power increases this unit's damage dealt by an amount equal to 100% of effect hit rate, max plus 80%. So this is why you're going to want more effect hit rate from her weapon right there, okay? Because you get more damage. So that's why it's important to have more blunt damage from your weapon. Or more, sorry, a higher, more blunt effect hit rate. And then at the start of battle, this unit's ultimate gauge plus 300, huge. She has an ultimate literally at the start of battle, essentially. And then Strengthened Resolved, after activating ultimate, applies attack plus 20% for 2 turns to this unit. So also very good, right? Because that's going to make your combat skill and normal attack hit harder. Now, as for her normal attack, deals blunt damage equal to 65% of this unit's attack to a single kaiju. It's meh. Then her combat skill deals blunt damage equal to 107% of this unit's attack to a single kaiju. This is at level 5. Deals blunt damage equal to 51% of this unit's attack to adjacent kaiju, so it is an AoE. And then after attacking, has a 65% base chance to apply speed minus 12% for 2 turns to the target. I like the AoE effect, and the damage is pretty decent. especially after you've done your ultimate because you get more damage, right? So keep that in mind. The ultimate, full force strike, deals blunt penetration damage equal to 151% of this unit's attack to a single kaiju. Deals blunt penetration damage equal to 76% of this unit's attack to adjacent kaiju. After attacking, has a 65% base chance to apply defense minus 13.5% for 2 turns to the target. I wish that was like a guaranteed chance to get the defense down. That would make her a whole lot better, but still, nonetheless, it's pretty good. And after that, we have the follow-up skill. Deals blunt penetration damage equal to 56% of this unit's attack to a single kaiju. And then we have the passive. The passive, after activating ultimate, applies inheritance for 3 turns to this unit. So you're able to get this right off the rip because you will have her ultimate right away from this passive. Inheritance. This unit's ultimate gets charge rate plus 100%. After activating normal attack, has a 65% base chance to apply defense minus 14% for 2 turns to the target. And then after activating combat skill, has a 65% chance to apply defense minus 10% to the target. So lots of defense down between the ultimate and the passive, right? Pretty good. If you were to ask me in general, what's the most important things to upgrade first on her, you can kind of already see it here with my upgrade order, but I think it's going to be the ultimate. And then I think it's going to be the combat skill because those are your 2 main sources of damage. Like I said, she's an ultimate spammer. I do think the passive is actually probably about as important as the combat skill. I say ultimate is your number 1, and then your number 2 upgrade is either going to be combat skill or passive. It's up to you. Your number 3 upgrade should probably be the normal attack, and then your last upgrade with most characters is usually the follow-up skill. But yeah, generally speaking, this ultimate's going to be your number 1 upgrade. Combat skill is going to be your number 2, in my opinion. Passive skill will be your number 3. Normal attack will be your number 4. And follow-up skill will be your number 5. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, or you would change that order at all, but I think that's generally the order that you would want to upgrade her skills in. And last but not least, let's talk about teams that you could put her on. Okay, so I am a pretty big fan of this team, especially when it comes to blunt damage, because you know blunt damage, blunt damage, blunt damage. And then you have Reno to also supply some debuffs and stuff like that. He also has the shot damage, so sometimes you need like a lot more blunt hits and then like 1 or 2 shot hits, so having Reno on the team is nice. But if you wanted to, I also just want to point out that you could run an all blunt damage team, right? And you could run all 3 Shinomiyas on a team, which I find a little bit interesting, and then just Kafka here. Pretty fun. Another option, and these teams are not set in stone, right? Like, I'm not saying these are the most meta teams, but you don't need meta teams in this game. You can literally run pretty much whatever you want. Another option, though, all Shinomiya team if you wanted to. Just something to consider, just giving you guys ideas. But generally speaking, if we're talking about teams that are good, right, I think the first team I showed here with Reno is a pretty solid team here. Another option you could run KIKORU as the main attacker, right? And so then you just swap in him there, and you throw Mina in here, right? Use these 2 characters to buff up Shinomiya, and then have Sagan as your defense. However, you're not going to get the full effect of all the buffs, I believe, if I remember right, for him. Yeah, he's applying crit damage, right? So she won't really benefit as much from the crit damage, so it's not really as good to run Hoshina right here. It would probably be almost better if you had Chester, if you could run Chester in here, and then Mina, Chester, and Sagan. Unfortunately, I don't have Chester to show, but that's all right. So in general, those are kind of the teams that I would run with her, things I would try. And yeah, that is it for the new KIKORU's build guide. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and if you did enjoy the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Peace.